If you had to answer the question, who are you, what would you say? Would you describe yourself as a human, as male or female, as being a certain age, in this or that profession, as being of a certain nationality or race? Because of the ever-present and ever-seemingly real nature of your physicalness and your physical context, your world, it is likely that you would start from those sorts of descriptions. And yet these are the least important characteristics of you, because they are not only highly impermanent, but they are the result of something much more fundamentally true about you. You're an awareness. And there's a particular shape to that awareness that is you. You can think of it as having two components. Firstly, there's the conscious you, this thinking you that's intersecting with us in this discussion. And here's what's interesting about the shape of that. There are limits to it. You mostly can't focus on two things at the same time. And yet functioning in this physical world requires that you process a ton of information and at the same time handle many things. So then we come to the second component, your much more powerful superconscious that you train to handle almost everything and to do it automatically. And yet even this two-component shape is impermanent because it and you and the context that surrounds you are all just parts of your creation. So today, let's deliberately dwell on the truth of who you are, because knowing that truth gives you a leg up in this journey, in this game you are playing called Life on Earth. It gives you a distinct advantage because it allows you to more easily see your life for what it is and to know more clearly what it can become for you. It answers the big questions that for many people seem to have no plausible answers. This week, this one came across the following from David Chalmers, who gave a TED Talk in 2014 entitled, How Do You Explain Consciousness? Listen to these words, and as you do, bear in mind that he's a self-described scientific materialist. Right now, you have a movie playing inside your head. It's an amazing multi-track movie. It has 3D vision and surround sound for what you're seeing and hearing right now. But that's just the start of it. Your movie has smell and taste and touch. It has a sense of your body, pain, hunger, orgasm. It has emotion, anger, and happiness. It has memories like scenes from your childhood playing before you. And it has this constant voice-over narrative, the stream of your conscious thinking. At the heart of this movie is you experiencing all this directly. This movie is the stream of consciousness, the subjective experience of the mind and the world. Consciousness is one of the fundamental facts of human existence. Each of us has our own inner movie. There's nothing we know about more directly. Consciousness is also what makes life worth living. If we weren't conscious, nothing in our lives would have meaning or value. But at the same time, it's the most mysterious phenomenon in the universe. Why are we conscious? Why do we have these inner movies? Why aren't we just robots who process all this input, produce all that output, without experiencing the inner movie at all? Right now, nobody knows the answer to those questions. We need one or two ideas that initially may seem crazy before we can come to grips with this scientifically. David is to be commended for the way in which, firstly, he has allowed himself to engage in this seemingly unscientific subject, but also in that he really gets it and describes how fundamentally important this idea of consciousness is. We would disagree with him on the nobody knows the answer bit, because we, and this one, and many of you do know the answer, and all of you will know before we finish here today. The crazy idea that is the answer may be difficult for David to accept, given his professed scientific materialism, because this consciousness that is you is timeless. You existed before you started on this game, and you will exist after you leave it. And so searching within it for answers that are fundamentally external to it won't get you very far. So let's step outside of it and look at the really scientific crazy idea that is the absolute truth of who you are. You are a timeless, spaceless, shapeless awareness. You're part of the collective consciousness of all that is. Your intentions and desires and choices created the shape of you and everything you experience. The physical you and your physical world, and the non-physical you and the non-physical world. All of that is simply the matching context that, by law of attraction, wraps itself around you. Let's shift from that infinite perspective and get to what you might consider to be a real example. Let's talk about something down to earth, like the relationships you have with the people around you, those other awarenesses that you're mixing it up with. From Abraham this week came, not only does the power of your thought determine which people make their way into your life, but the power of your thought determines how they behave once they get there. Think about those words. Not only do you control who's in your life, but you control their behavior. What a radical idea. What a scientifically crazy idea, and yet it's true. It's not like you're a puppet master in complete control of every word they say and every action they take, but by what you choose to believe about them, what is certain, what is probable, what is improbable, and what is impossible. You set the boundaries within which they will show up in your experience. And by the way, they don't have to be physically present. They can just as easily be non-physical if that's what you choose to believe. Are you getting what's going on here? You're a consciousness that's mixing it up with other consciousnesses according to your choices. When you make a new choice, you step into a new version of you, and a new matching set of everything and everyone else shows up around you. You're creating this movie that David Chalmers spoke about. You're writing the screenplay. You're creating the stage on which it plays out. You're inviting those others into it, and everything and everyone is faithfully following your screenplay. Also this week, this one came across a recording of Jim Carrey's 2014 commencement address to the Maharishi University of Management. He had some pretty good words about this. You can spend your whole life imagining ghosts, worrying about the pathway to the future. But all there will ever be is what's happening here and the discussions we make in this moment, which will be based in either love or fear. It's just about letting the universe know what you want and letting go of how it comes to pass. Your job is not to figure out how it's going to happen for you, but to open the door in your head, and when the door opens in real life, just walk through it. In other words, it's what you choose to believe that matters, not what you do. And now is always your decision point. It doesn't matter what you decided in that so-called past of yours, you can always make a new decision. And having made that new decision, now shift your focus. Your new focus is to teach that marvelous, capable, obedient superconscious of yours what that new decision is and why you made it. Enroll that superconscious of yours as an ally in your new direction. When you bring the whole of the awareness that is you into alignment with what you want, doors will open for you that you never knew existed. There is no objective reality. The only reality that exists for you is the one you're creating. You're not a physical human trying to make your way in a physical world. You're a consciousness choosing to play on a focused, three-dimensional space-time stage for the sheer joy of creating something new and wonderful within this context. We encourage you, stay grounded in what is essentially groundless, the essence of who you are. When you step from that place, there is no question you cannot answer, there's no direction you cannot go, and no destination that is beyond that your reach. From that place, all things are possible.